Everybody, welcome to my new art page. So I am the artist behind Blown Beauty Art, and I'm excited to share with everybody my creations. I've loved to paint for a very long time, and I've just started getting back into it, and so I'm excited to share my creations with everyone. Art is something that I think resonates with a lot of people because with abstract art, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I've never been one of those girls that colored inside the lines type of person. So I'm excited to make something special for everyone. It gives me peace and it kind of centers me, and so this started as a hobby, and now I love doing it, and I would love to create pieces for people to bring them joy and happiness. I think that, in life we go through things that, sometimes are really hard. And so if we can find one thing that brings us peace and centers us inside our soul, then it's worth doing and sharing. And so I am more than happy to share my passion with you guys. And I hope you like it. So thank you guys. Bye.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is at it again, trying to fool and manipulate the public. She has taken her TikTok account and has changed it to her art, which in fact, she texted this to Nick before the unaliving of her mother. She wanted to go and live with Nick and move out of that area and do what? Yes, right here. She wanted to sell her art. So she's done it again. She's changed her TikTok page, deleted.
Hey gossip lovers, buckle up because we're diving into the wild, messy, and oh so predictable world of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Yes, she's back, and this time she's trying to convince us she's the next Picasso with her, wait for it, hairdryer blown art mess? Allegedly, our girl Gypsy is out here grifting on TikTok, peddling paintings that look like a toddler got loose with a can of paint and a blow dryer. And y'all, she's charging hundreds of dollars for this stuff. So, grab your iced coffee, settle in, and let's unpack this latest chapter in the Gypsy Rose saga, because trust me, it's a doozy. Picture this. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the woman who's been at the center of one of the most jaw-dropping true crime stories of our time, is back on TikTok. Not with an apology, not with a life update, but with a rebrand so audacious it's almost laughable. She's decided she's an artist now, y'all, and she's selling what she calls blown beauty art. Yes, you heard that right. Art made with a blow dryer. And not just any art, but pieces she's slapping a $120 price tag on, despite them looking like something you'd find in a kindergarten art class. Allegedly, Gypsy's trying to cash in on her 9.5 million TikTok followers by turning her main account into a virtual art gallery for her, masterpieces. But here's the kicker. Is this a genuine pivot to a new passion, or is it just another manipulative money grab? Let's break it down. Now, if you've been living under a rock, let me catch you up. Gypsy Rose Blanchard became a household name after the shocking, alleged unaliving of her mother, D.D. Blanchard, back in 2015. The story was a whirlwind. Gypsy, a young woman who'd been forced to fake illnesses her whole life due to her mother's Munchausen syndrome by proxy, allegedly conspired with her then-boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, to end Dee life. It's a case that's been dissected in documentaries, TV shows, and countless TikTok deep dives. Gypsy served time, got out, and has been trying to carve out a life ever since. But here's where things get sticky. Instead of fading into the background, Gypsy's been chasing clout like it's her full-time job. From reality TV appearances to social media drama with her ex-husband Ryan Anderson, Gypsy's life is a never-ending soap opera. And now, rumor has it, she's broke. Or at least, her bank account's looking a little thin after some lavish vacations and a lifestyle that screams, "I'm famous, deal with it." Allegedly, her latest venture, Blown Beauty Art, is her attempt to cash in on her massive platform without putting in the work that actual artists do. And let me tell you, the internet is not buying it. So let's dive into this art grift and figure out what's really going on.
She's posted a video now with herself in it, sitting all done up. It's very edited and scripted. And she starts with, "Welcome to my new art page." Honey, it ain't no new art page. You a con artist is what you are. You built that page off of the sweet, innocent girl who was abused by her mama and had to serve time because the only way out she had was to that mama. And you gained pity, and then the masses turned on you because the truth started coming out. So now it's your new art page. It ain't a new art page. You flip the switch. Maybe you can say, "I'm rebranding." Maybe, anywho. Then she goes on to say how art resonates with a lot of people. And when you go through something hard, blah, 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 blah. My favorite part, "I've never been the girl to color in the lines." Well, first of all, we know that. We've seen the crime scene videos. There was red paint splattered everywhere. Nothing in the lines, and it looked a lot like your paintings, just with one color, Dee Dee's. Also, you don't paint and color in between the lines because you thought really out of the box because you couldn't just like a normal person run away when you said your mother was. You know what? I think I've made my point. Anywho, it's there. Gypsy is an artist. Just put the word con in front of it and we'll see what else that is going to come out of her mouth. I'm pretty sure that we're done being shocked. It doesn't shock me anymore at all.
Okay, let's talk about this so-called art. According to the rumors, Gypsy has rebranded her main TikTok account, you know, the one with 9.5 million followers, into Blown Beauty Art. She's deleted all her old videos, the ones that allegedly had some questionable content, and now she's using this massive platform to hawk her paintings. These aren't intricate oil paintings or thought-provoking abstracts, mind you. We're talking about pieces that look like she took a blow dryer, some cheap paint, and went to town on a canvas. And y'all, she's charging $120 and up for these. I'm no art critic, but I've seen more effort in a 9-year-old's finger painting project. Now, here's where it gets shady. Allegedly, Gypsy's not just selling art, she's leveraging her infamous name to do it. Instead of starting fresh with a new account, like most small businesses do, she's using her existing platform to make it seem like Blown Beauty Art is some established, trustworthy brand. Girl, please. Most artists spend years building their craft, grinding on Etsy, or hustling at local art fairs to get their name out there. But Gypsy? She's like, "I'm Gypsy Rose Blanchard, so I deserve to skip the line." And that, my friends, is where the manipulation comes in.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is at it again, trying to fool and manipulate the public. She has taken her TikTok account and has changed it to her art, which in fact, she texted this to Nick before the unaliving of her mother. She wanted to go and live with Nick and move out of that area and do what? Yes, right here. She wanted to sell her art. So she's done it again. She's changed her TikTok page, deleted all her incriminating, allegedly old videos, and she is now peddling her hair dryer blown art mess all over TikTok. She even has a business card posted on her TikTok.
She even posted a video on her TikTok saying, "Hey, I'm the artist behind Blown Beauty Art. Come buy my stuff." That's not the move of someone trying to let their art speak for itself. It's the move of someone banking on their notoriety to make a quick buck. And let's be real. If you're buying a $120 painting from Gypsy Rose, are you buying it for the art? Or are you buying it because it's a piece of true crime memorabilia? Exactly. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about Gypsy's social media strategy, because this is where things get really interesting. Allegedly, just a week ago, her best friend Bree was out here proclaiming that Gypsy was going private, done with the internet, and ready to live a quiet life. There was supposed to be a mass unfollowing, with Gypsy locking down her account so no one could ditch her. But surprise, surprise, she didn't delete her main TikTok account. Instead, she gave it a makeover, slapped on the Blown Beauty Art branding, and kept those 9.5 million followers in her pocket.
Now, seriously, would you buy art from a known schmurderer that the questions in that case are still unanswered? Did you know, in fact, in the police reports and the documents that I shared a long time ago, that there was blood, red stained blood, way on the countertops, in the cabinets, in the kitchen? Yes, folks, that was reported in the crime reports. And if you believe that she had just a tiny, incy-bincy part in that unaliving of her mother, I dare you to look at the evidence again, folks. We have a murderer on this app making money. Don't you know, I blocked her a long time ago, so she won't come up on my FYP. She won't make money. Block them, sock them, and block them. That's my take for the day on this creature. Like and follow for more. Be well.
Now, here's the tea. If Gypsy really wanted to go private, why is she using her massive platform to push her art? If she was serious about starting fresh, she'd have created a new account, kept her name out of it, and let her work stand on its own. But no, she's out here waving her Gypsy Rose flag, making sure everyone knows she's the one behind these paintings. It's like she's saying, buy my art because I'm famous, not because it's good. And that, my friends, is peak manipulation. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with selling your art. Artists gotta eat, and I'm all for creative hustles. But when you're using a platform built on true crime infamy to sell overpriced, low-effort paintings, it starts to feel like a scam. Allegedly, Gypsy's not even trying to hide it. She's got a business card posted on her TikTok, and her showcase still has the same 4 products she's been peddling forever. It's like she's not even trying to innovate, just recycling the same old tricks to keep the cash flowing. Let's talk about the art itself, because y'all, this is where I can't keep a straight face. Rumor has it Gypsy's paintings are made by squirting paint on a canvas and blasting it with a blow dryer. That's it. That's the process.
Everybody's missing the point on Gypsy Rose doing this art stuff. It is very popular amongst unalivers like Jeffrey Dahmer, all the unalivers. Art. That is what sells. That's when they are in their prison cell and they cannot do anything else for money. They send out art and people love to buy that stuff. They will have something that Jeffrey did over here. They'll have Gypsy Rose up over here. It doesn't matter what the art is as long as it's something they want to add to their collection. Gypsy Rose is smart. She knows this. She was either told this or she learned this. So what does she do after she was shunned by America and the whole world, basically? Now that it has come out that she is what she is? Well, she is now doing art. She has embraced being the schmurderer that she is. Now, there's a glimmer of hope that I had for Gypsy Rose. But she's just been terrible, man. She's been horrible. And I know what the experience of getting out of prison is. I did it myself, so I know what change looks like. And if I was the same person I was 10 years ago, well, I'd be trying to find $20 right now. But let me know what you think in the comments.
And somehow, she's decided this is worth $120 a pop. I'm sorry, but I've seen more creativity in a spilled latte at Starbucks. There's no depth, no technique, no soul in these pieces. At least, that's what the internet's saying. And if you've seen the videos of her making this art, it's allegedly 3 seconds of effort for a 3-figure price tag. Now, I'm not here to gatekeep art. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder and all that jazz. But when you're charging prices that rival actual artists who've spent years honing their craft, you better bring something to the table. Gypsy's art? It's giving, I did this in 5 minutes because I needed rent money. And the fact that she's allegedly trying to pass it off as high-end work is just bold. Like, girl, at least take a painting class first. Here's the thing. The art world is tough. Most artists start from the bottom, selling their work for pennies to build a reputation. They post on Etsy, they hustle at craft fairs, they beg their friends to buy a print. But Gypsy? She's like, I'm famous, so I can charge whatever I want. And that entitlement? It's rubbing people the wrong way. Allegedly, folks on TikTok and Facebook are calling her out for overpricing her art and using her name to skip the grind. And honestly, I get it. If I'm dropping $120 on a painting, I want it to be from someone who's put in the work, not someone who's banking on their true crime fame.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard wants to make it really clear to those of us who know that that's her page, that that is her artwork. Or at least that's what her story said a little bit ago. Yes, I am the artist. Which is interesting because supposedly she's trying to go incognito, and nothing on that page, other than the showcase that hasn't changed, is tied to her name. Now, we all know it's her because we've been following and paying attention, but she also doesn't follow anybody. I will tell you this, rule of thumb on TikTok, if somebody has that many followers and they don't even follow at least the 10,000 that they're allowed, doesn't that scream con? And also, if she had 9.5 million followers, based off of she was Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the schmurderer who was getting out of on parole after offing her mother because she wanted to get some D, and now all of a sudden it's a sales page, doesn't that scream con? Because she conned y'all into following her because she wanted you to follow her life and support her, you know, now that she's out and changing her life, and then she goes ghost for a few days on this page and then magically wants you to buy her things. But did she let you guys follow her new private page? You can't switch up on your people like that. Oh, and one other thing. Something very similar to this was on the clearance rack at Ross for $3.99.
So, what's really going on here? Is Gypsy Rose Blanchard a master manipulator, or is she just a young woman trying to make a living after a tumultuous life? Let's unpack both sides, because I'm not here to just dunk on her. Though, let's be real, it's tempting. On one hand, you could argue Gypsy's just doing what anyone would do, using her platform to make money. She's got 9.5 million followers, a name that's synonymous with true crime, and a story that's kept people hooked for years. Why wouldn't she try to cash in? After everything she's been through, alleged abuse, imprisonment, and a life under public scrutiny, maybe she feels like she's owed a shortcut. And in a world where influencers sell everything from diet teas to NFT scams, is Gypsy's art hustle really that bad? But here's the flip side, and it's where my critical side kicks in. Allegedly, Gypsy's not just selling art, she's manipulating her audience. By rebranding her main account instead of starting fresh, she's banking on her followers' curiosity about her life to drive sales. It's not about the art, it's about the Gypsy Rose brand. And that's where it starts to feel icky. If she was serious about being an artist, she'd let her work speak for itself. Instead, she's leaning into her infamy, knowing that some people will buy her paintings just because of who she is. That's not artistry. That's exploitation.
Oh, and then there's this one. My daughter brought this home from school, and she's a daycare teacher, and she teaches 2-year-olds, and she told me one of the little boys had done it and told her she could have it. Just saying. For someone who's spent the last 10 years in prison, she has quite the resume, especially for somebody who claims that she never made it past the 2nd grade, although we've proven that's not the truth. But author, best-selling, mind you, she says that. Now she's calling herself an artist. Does she forget she's also a schmurderer? I don't know. But anyways, apparently, just knowing that that's Gypsy's artwork, it's supposed to make it worth hundreds of dollars. Just thought I'd give you the information because I'm pretty sure, no, never mind. She's going to tell you. She's going to tell you that it's worth more just because it's hers.
And let's not forget the rumors about her financial situation. Word on the street is that Gypsy's been living it up. Vacations, fancy dinners, the whole influencer lifestyle. But now, allegedly, the money's running low, and she's scrambling to keep the cash flowing. Is Blown Beauty art a passion project, or is it a desperate attempt to stay relevant and solvent? Only Gypsy knows the truth, but the optics, they're not great. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, Gypsy's past. I'm not here to rehash the entire case. Y'all can watch the act or dive into the Reddit threads for that. But we can't talk about Gypsy without acknowledging her history. Allegedly, there are still unanswered questions about her role in her mother's unaliving. Police reports, according to rumors, mentioned bloodstains in places that raise eyebrows. Countertops, cabinets, the kitchen, and while Gypsy's painted herself as a victim, and in many ways, she was, some folks online aren't convinced she's as innocent as she claims. So, when you see her pop up on TikTok, peddling art with a smile, it's hard not to wonder, can we trust her? Is this a genuine attempt to move forward? Or is it another chapter in a long game of manipulation? I'm not saying she's a master criminal, but when someone with her history starts leveraging their fame for profit, it's natural to raise an eyebrow.
It was not even a week ago when Gypsy Rose's best friend Bree went online proclaiming that Gypsy was going private. Everybody needed to hang it up because she's getting off of the internet. There was supposed to be a massive unfollowing on TikTok and Instagram, but Gypsy privated her accounts so that nobody could unfollow her. And now she has utilized her platform in order to scam and try to market her art and manipulate the public into believing that her business is something that is well established and trustworthy and that they can purchase from her. It is incredibly manipulative in my personal opinion. And if it were true that Gypsy really wanted to go private, why did she utilize her platform with millions of followers in order to market and rebrand herself and her art? If she wanted to be private, she would have utilized a completely separate account and started fresh and not put her name on it so that people didn't even know that it was her.
Allegedly, she's been texting about selling art since before the unaliving, back when she was planning to run away with Nick. That's right, she's been dreaming of this art hustle for years. Coincidence? Or calculated? And then there's the social media cleanup. Rumor has it she deleted all her old TikTok videos. You know, the ones that might have raised some red flags. Why? To make room for her shiny new art brand? Or to cover her tracks? I'm not saying she's hiding something sinister, but the timing is convenient. And when you're someone with Gypsy's past, every move you make is going to be scrutinized. That's just the reality of being a public figure with a true crime rap sheet.
But no, she actually made a video under the account telling everybody, hey, I'm Blown Beauty Art. Come and purchase from me because I'm the artist behind this page. And as I stated, completely manipulating her audience into believing that she is a well-established author and that this page is a trustworthy page to purchase products from. And that's the problem that I have. She is not a trustworthy business. She just decided to start painting art on a whim and is trying to utilize her massive platform to scam her audience into purchasing her art. It is incredibly manipulative. Let me know what you think, because everything about this is screaming, I want fast money, and I'm going to use my name attached to this particular Blown Beauty art to see how much quick money I can scam from these stupid idiots online. That's what it's saying to me.
Oh, and we can't talk about Gypsy without diving into her ongoing drama with ex-husband Ryan Anderson. Allegedly, Gypsy and her crew have been throwing shade at Ryan online, accusing him of being on medication-assisted treatment, MAT, for addiction. Now, I'm no doctor, but shaming someone for getting help with addiction is low, like really low. And if Gypsy's claiming she's been through her own struggles with substances, as some rumors suggest, you'd think she'd have a little empathy. But nope. Instead, she's allegedly out here dragging Ryan in the comments, acting like he's the villain in her story. Here's the thing. Addiction isn't a choice. You don't just decide to get hooked or not, despite what some folks might think. And throwing shade at someone for being on MAT, that's not just mean, it's ignorant. Allegedly, Gypsy and her pal Ken, yeah, another player in this drama, have been deflecting blame onto Ryan, acting like he's the one stirring the pot. But here's a wild idea. Maybe if they stopped talking about him, he'd stop talking about them.
Right, it's out. Me and Gypsy are doing the painting thing. We have a Facebook page and we're making paints, okay? We're decorating and we're sending gifts out to y'all. The first 5 are free, but you gotta pay for shipping. Gypsy spends a whole 6.5 minutes painting and decorating that. And that's with a time lapse of a longer time. It takes her 3 freaking minutes. Let her make $30 a pop. Y'all don't want famous things from Gypsy? I would. Gypsy, I'm gonna be the first one to shop. I'm gonna buy it. That's the kind of stuff you're supposed to do, Gypsy. At home, painting and crafting. And you can sell it. That's fine. I mean, if it comes out nice. Maybe you should sign it. If you sign it, it might be a little bit more, couple of doll hairs. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're still doing something right, okay? You're trying. Effort's there. And you know what? You got to occupy yourself when the kid's sleeping, right?
It's like watching a bunch of middle schoolers fight over who gets to sit at the cool table. Except, one of them's tied to a murder case. This whole feud just adds another layer to the Gypsy Rose circus. She's out here trying to sell art, rebrand herself as a creative soul, and yet she can't resist getting messy in the comments. It's like she's addicted to the drama, or at least to the attention it brings. And when you pair that with her alleged art grift, it paints a picture of someone who's less interested in redemption and more interested in staying relevant. So, what's the vibe online? Let's just say the internet's not exactly lining up to buy Gypsy's blow-dryer art. Allegedly, TikTok and Facebook are buzzing with people calling her out for overpricing her paintings and using her fame to manipulate her audience. Comments like, "I'd rather buy art from a 9-year-old and $120 for that," are popping up left and right. And honestly, I can't blame them. When you see the alleged videos of Gypsy making her art, it's hard to justify the price tag. It's like she spent 5 minutes on it and decided it was worth a Benjamin.
Page. So I am the artist behind Blown Beauty Art, and I'm excited to share with everybody my creations. I've loved.
Well, I guess sales are a little down for Gypsy Rose because even though she said she was not going to use her name for her Blown Beauty Art, she opted in for showing everyone that she is the artist of this company. Finances may be a little tight after a few vacations away from home. She came back selling all her items and this blown art made with a blow dryer. I don't know, maybe she should opt in for a 9-to-5 instead.
But it's not just about the art. It's about the principle. People are tired of Gypsy's entitlement. Allegedly, she thinks she can skip the hard work because of her name, and that's not sitting right with folks who've had to grind for their success. Whether you're an artist, a business owner, or just someone trying to make it in this world, you can't just waltz in and demand top dollar without putting in the effort. And yet, that's exactly what Gypsy's doing, or at least that's what the rumors suggest. Some folks are even speculating that her main TikTok account got banned, which is why she's leaning so hard into this art hustle. Allegedly, she's got other accounts, like one called Butterfly Kiss Soul or something equally extra, but her 9.5 million follower account is her golden ticket. If it was banned, it would explain why she's suddenly rebranding it instead of starting fresh. But since she's back and posting, it seems more likely she just wanted a clean slate to push her art without the baggage of her old content. Either way, the internet's not falling for it. All right, let's get real for a second. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but this whole blown beauty art thing smells like a grift from a mile away. Allegedly, Gypsy's not selling art, she's selling her name.
Finally did it, you guys. I watched the full interrogation video, and let me tell you, I'm sickened. My fiance watched it with me, so he may be chiming in here and there, but she lied throughout this entire police investigation. Ooh. She lied throughout this entire police investigation. So not only did she lie, but she also, anytime that the police officer kind of got her on something, she would make herself seem smaller in that blanket and she'd hunch over and be like, "I didn't do it, please." Talks about how her mom's her best fucking friend and how she'd never hurt her mom and how this was all Nick and how Nick and her mom didn't get along, and tried to set up a whole narrative, a whole story to try and set Nick up in the interview room when she supposedly was at her most abused and manipulated. She was saying she was spoiled. She was saying she had name brand clothes in her closet. She was saying all this stuff and said her mom didn't take care of her not one little bit. And on top of that, she was also telling the cop that that Nick and her act afterwards, after he had unalived her mom, that the act afterwards was essay.
She's banking on her true crime fame to convince people to drop serious cash on paintings that, let's be honest, aren't worth the canvas they're painted on. And the fact that she's using her massive platform to do it, instead of starting from scratch like every other artist, feels manipulative as hell. Here's what bugs me the most: the entitlement. Starting a business is hard. Whether you're selling art, candles, or handmade soap, you have to earn your customers' trust. You start small, you build your brand, you prove your worth. But Gypsy? She's like, I'm famous, so I get to skip all that. And that's not just unfair. It's disrespectful to every artist out there who's put in the work. Allegedly, she's trying to scam her audience into thinking Blown Beauty Art is some legit established brand, when really, it's just her trying to make quick cash. And don't even get me started on the price tags. On $20 for a painting that took 3 seconds to make? Honey, I can go to Etsy and find a masterpiece for half that price, made by someone who actually cares about their craft. Gypsy's art hustle feels like a cash grab, plain and simple. And while I feel for her, because let's be real, her life hasn't been easy, this isn't the way to build a future. If she wants to be taken seriously as an artist, she needs to put in the work, not just lean on her infamy.
Girl, and then she tried setting a narrative that Nick killed her mom and that they just didn't get along, everything else, and the cop, is feeling for her. He's calling her baby girl. He's like, oh, I understand you, I get you, let's figure this out. And then he goes and talks to Nick, right? And oh my God, when he talks to Nick and comes back in that room, did the narrative fucking change? He's like, no, you lied to me. She's like, oh, no, please, I didn't lie. I'm telling the truth. My mom is my best friend. Girl, you pre-cut the duct tape. You bought the knife. You texted him. He asked you multiple times, are you sure you're okay with this? And she says yes every single time. In fact, tells him that she shaved for it, tells him that all sorts of gross shiz. And you can find the text messages. There's a girl on here with long dark hair who reenacts it and she does it perfectly. It's sick. I watched the interview and she's over here talking about how she's a victim and everything else, and her body language even shows that she's trying to make herself the victim. She's leaning over, she's heightening her voice, making her voice a little bit higher, trying to appeal to the officer who has a daughter. You know, all sorts of stuff like that. It's crazy. And then when the officer's like, nah, girl.
So where does Gypsy go from here? If the rumors are true, she's not slowing down anytime soon. Allegedly, she's got multiple TikTok accounts, including one for her art and another for whatever butterfly kiss soul is supposed to be. She's still out here stirring the pot, throwing shade at Ryan, and trying to keep her name in the headlines. And while part of me wants to root for her, because who doesn't love a redemption arc? It's hard to cheer for someone who's allegedly manipulating her audience for profit. My prediction? This art hustle is just the latest chapter in the Gypsy Rose saga. If it flops, and let's be real, it's not looking great, she'll pivot to something else. Maybe a memoir, maybe a podcast, maybe a line of true crime-themed candles. Don't give her any ideas. But whatever she does, you can bet it'll come with a side of drama and a whole lot of controversy. Because that's just Gypsy's brand at this point. Chaos, clout, and questionable choices.
She's crying. The only time she cries during this interview is when she thinks that the cop thinks that she did it. That's the only time. She thinks that she can use her tears as a manipulation tactic during this interview. And she's like, even now, I think that she still has the same mentality that she had in that interview room. Not mentality in the sense like she's still in that place, but I think that she still thinks that she is a victim of Nicholas Godejohn. I don't think that she thinks that she did anything wrong. And hear me out. During this interview, she talks about how sick Nick is and everything else. I feel like she already had this narrative in her head, but anyways, she talks about how sick Nick is, right? And how he's awful and how he didn't get along with her mom and everything. And then whenever she posted her TikTok posts that are now deleted, surprise, surprise, she talks about how he's a monster and everything else. Verbatim, some of the same stuff that she put in that TikTok post, she said in that interview room. I was like, yo, because I know a lot of people aren't going over the interview, but I did, and let me tell you, I went over her social media post versus the interview when she was talking about Nick Godejohn. Verbatim, some of the exact same stuff she was saying about Nick, she said in the interview room. And I was like, that's weird, Gypsy. You recanted some of that too. You told people that wasn't true. And now you're re-saying it. It's very odd. It's very calculated. It's weird.
All right, gossip lovers, I've spilled all the tea, but now it's your turn. What do you think about Gypsy Rose's art grift? Are you buying her blow dryer paintings, or are you side-eyeing this whole thing like I am? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know you've got opinions. And if you're as obsessed with this drama as I am, make sure to like, comment, save, and share this video. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my takes on the wild world of gossip news. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next one.